Hey, so I have a colleague of mine who works for an agency, an ad agency. He's a campaign manager, and he's got a bit of an idiot for a boss. He's always telling me these funny stories, actually, about his retarded boss and the dumb things that he asks for. Now, do keep in mind, most of the things that I say, the advice that I give you guys, when it comes to how to manage a Google account, a Google Ads account or pay-per-click accounts overall. Most of this advice is relevant for entrepreneurs who are not trying to be campaign managers. It's a means to an end. They want to get their campaigns producing with as minimal headache as they can, so they can get traffic and they can build their business. And they've got a lot of things on their plate, so they don't have the time to sit around micromanaging a lot of stuff. Now, on the other hand, if you are an agency, that is kind of what you're being paid to do, to micromanage the stuff so that the business doesn't have to deal with that stuff, so that the business owner is not dealing with it. So if I were to hire you as an agency to take care of my business, I would expect for you to micromanage the crap out of it. So just do keep that in mind, that I'm not telling you that that necessarily everything I say applies to everybody who wants to do any kind of traffic generation. This is specifically, the advice is for entrepreneurs who are they just want to get traffic from Google, okay? So they can, to their offers, they can sell them stuff. Now, with that said, so the story as it goes is the guy, they are now trying to recruit trying to find traffic to sell their services. And one of the services that they offer is, so this is not a client campaign, it's a campaign for the business itself. So one of the services they offer is logo design. And the guy says to my friend, he says to him, we don't want to target people who are looking for design logo, because that is probably an uneducated person, and that's not really a good target customer for our services. And what we really want is people who are, but we do want the keyword logo design, because that is an educated person. What? Sorry, this is crazy. So, just to make a distinction, I don't really see the connection, but perhaps he thinks that this is ungrammatical. And I think that if that's what he thinks, that design logo is an ungrammatical statement, therefore it is being said by an uneducated person, therefore we are dealing with somebody who is probably not going to make a good customer. I don't know how he makes the connection, but let's proceed as if that is what he was, that's what he was getting at, okay? So let me clear up something really important that you guys need to understand. I don't think enough people get this, okay? So there's a distinction, and I make this distinction clear in the resource manual of the Super Traffic Machines traffic module. But let me try to give you the summary of this. So there's what we call a keyword, and then there's a search query, okay? The search query is what somebody types into the search engine. So if I sit here and I want to write, how can I make my dick bigger? That is the search string that I type into the, but that's what I type into the search query, right? Google will not necessarily make that particular string available to anybody. It's unlikely that Google will take that very long string and tell an advertiser that this is a popular keyword. What they're going to do is, and what you would end up targeting if you wanted to find those people, is something like, make my dick bigger, for instance, or bigger dick, or something like that. So that is a keyword. Now, with that said, this applies whether you're talking about the broad match, or if you're talking about the broad match or the phrase match, or the exact match. For the most part, Google has, over the years, phased out almost all the ways to target the exact string. There's just, more levels of specificity. That's all it is. So the exact match is not exact anymore. The phrase match is not really a phrase match anymore. And the broad match has never been anything more than a generic keyword to sort of capture all like a variety of different search terms that might fit into the same sort of understanding. So if you were targeting, if you were originally targeting design logo, and you also target, or you were also targeting logo design, there is actually very little to say, especially in broad match. There is very little to distinguish the kind of traffic that you would get from both, because broad match says that I don't care about the word order. That's like one of the main features of the broad match. I don't care about the word order. Phrase match might dictate a certain word order, and there used to be the modified broad match, which allowed you to sort of have keywords in a particular order, but where you didn't really care that the word, which exact word it was, as long as the order was kept. But even that has been phased out, or is being phased out at the moment, and is being replaced. Basically, the phrase match is going to adopt that same sort of understanding. So honestly, if you are looking at it in this really, really, really specific way, you're going about it wrong. Okay, I don't actually use the phrase match or the exact match for most of my targeting. I use it occasionally. I use the phrase match occasionally. I might use the exact match, and even more occasionally, but the main thing that I use them for is when I'm doing negative matches. So I would say I don't want this exact string. That might be something I might be interested in excluding. I want to just exclude this particular string. I might also want to exclude a particular phrase. So that might happen in that case when I'm using it in negative match. But typically, and this is what I just don't get, why there's this extreme focus on doing all of Google's work for it. Like, dude, do you not understand? Like, you guys got to get this. If you're doing traffic, paid traffic, right? And your traffic is charging, the engine that you're using is charging you per click. That's what you pay for, okay? Why the fuck are you trying to reduce the number of impressions? Because that's all you're trying to do here. You're trying to reduce impressions. What you care about is reducing the clicks that are wasteful. Now, you could say there's one strategy to reduce the wasteful clicks is to reduce the impressions that are, not being seen by the right people, so you can get fewer clicks. And yeah, you could go about it that way. If your budget is super tiny and you're really worried about, a lot of happy clicks that are not going to, turn into anything, but even those will be filtered out. If you're patient enough, Google's going to automatically filter those out, because they know that they're not actually targeted clicks. Those are not really useful clicks to you or to them or to anybody. So you might pay for them a couple of times, and then eventually it's going to figure out, oh, you know what? You got a low quality score on this particular type of a search, or these particular sort of keywords, and so they will just not show your ad anyway, and that's fine. You don't really care about how they figure out how to get you the traffic that pays them money. Okay, my last concern on earth is how Google is going to get money out of me. That's the last thing I give a shit about. Okay, what I want to do is to increase the impressions that I get. Yes, I want to have some sort of a wide net in my targeting that is sort of in the right general direction, right? So you will widen that net, and then what you do to get quality clicks is focus on creating ads that are going to get you the kind of click that you want. And so I see this all the time. It's done in reverse. They go super laser targeted on the impressions. Guess what? Those are free. Those are free, motherfucker. You're getting them for free. Why are you trying to reduce them? So you go really, really, really targeted on the impressions. And then with like 5 bloody impressions a month, he's going to go and write this ridiculously attractive ad, trying to split test the Jesus out of that ad to get the click-through rate up as high as he can to 80%, bloody 20%, whatever he can get. 20% of 5 is bugger all. Okay, it's not worth it. It's not even worth your time creating an ad group around that. Like, why would you create an ad group around something that's going to get you 1 click a month? Dude, your time is better spent on other things, honestly. So what you want to do is widen the net so you have more people seeing your ad. Allow your ad, then create an ad that is very explicitly about the kind of person that you want. Make sure there's little confusion in terms of people who might see the ad, that they're not going to confuse it with something that they want when they're actually looking for something else. So that's like what I focus on doing. I try to create ads that are very that my focus is on creating ads that are not confusing. Ads that make it clear what I want from the other side. I try to specify things like price. I try to specify that that they're going to have to enter their email address. I try to specify things like that this is a trial rather than being free, because free is such a fantastic word, but it gets you a lot of crappy clicks, and you're paying for those clicks. So rather than focus on getting those really high, low, like reducing impressions to something really, really, really targeted, and then creating ads that are trying to get as many clicks per impression as possible, do it in reverse. Open up the impressions so that they're as wide open as possible, as reasonably possible, and then create ads that really focus on getting good quality clicks, because that's what you end up paying for. And let Google figure out where to place your ad, dude. Let Google go out and find you the right placements, and don't worry about the quality score. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Let them go and figure out the best place to get you the traffic that is going to respond to your ads. Make sure that your ads attract the right kind of people to your offers, that they prime people to your offer, so that when they arrive on your page, they're not shocked by the fact that you're asking for money. Okay, they're not shocked by the fact, because if you said to them free and then they get on the page and it says that there's something to buy, dude, it's not free. Okay, you're going to be disappointed. You got somebody who was not interested in spending money, being attracted and clicking your ad, and then they got there and it was like, oh, it's not free. Of course they're not going to do anything. That's a wasted click. That was dumb. That was stupid. You don't want to do that. And if you told somebody that they're going to get something free and then they get there and it turns out, well, actually, you're going to have to log in first with your Facebook, or you're going to have to register an account first or something like that, it might make sense to let them know that in advance, so that when they get there, they're not disappointed. They're not like, oh, I don't want to give my email address. Let them know that you want their email address. Just tell them, enter your email to get such and such. What's wrong with that? And if you did your targeting right and you opened it up properly, then you're going to find that people will actually join your list primed already. I mean, you're not going to get the perfect prospect no matter what. There's multiple levels of filter, okay, that you have to go through to find your ideal customer, to actually find a customer. So, when you go, oh, the traffic's not targeted. What do you mean the traffic's not targeted? The traffic is a first level filter, okay? That's a first level filter. There's no such thing as not targeted. If you're using pay-per-click ads and you've sort of made a somewhat semblance of an attempt at targeting your ads, your keywords are a filter, your ads are a filter, okay? And once people pass those filters, you still got you got your landing page is another filter, okay? And then your emails are a filter, your sales presentation is a filter. These are all filters. Every time you send out an email, you're filtering people. And so typically, when people come and they say, oh, it's not working, the campaign isn't working, your problem is, quite honestly, typically has nothing to do with the campaign itself. As long as you just ticked off some basics on the campaign, very rarely is the problem with the campaign. There may be improvements that you could do on the campaign that'll make it better. But honestly, if you're not getting the results you want, you're just much better off making the changes at your site. So that's what the guy was telling me about his boss. It's like their landing page, their homepage is really stupid. It's really bad. It's poorly designed and could really use a much better, if you're trying to sell logo design to people, it would make sense that your website shows that you know something, a thing or two about design, right? So if your landing page is crappy, chances are that's why you're not getting the results that you want. Not because you're getting the wrong kind of traffic. It's not because you chose to reverse the keyword design logo or logo design. As far as I'm concerned, that's the same keyword. You may as well just delete one of them if you really feel so inclined to remove one. Delete any of them. It really doesn't matter which. Anyway, so that's my 2 cents on that. And the super traffic machine is it very much teaches that approach where your traffic your traffic is built in such a way that you are widening the net for reaching as many people as possible, and then focusing the clicks so that you're getting the highest quality of clicks as possible. When you are spending on the click, it's actually getting you a good, useful click that you can possibly have a good chance of turning into a customer, rather than reducing the amount of available traffic to you and then creating dumb ads that are, that try to widen an already tight thing, a tight funnel, to basically let as many people through as possible. And then it ends up not properly screening your people and the people who come through, and you pay for clicks that are actually quite crappy, even though they will be, maybe cheaper, or sometimes they'll be more expensive. But that's the advantage of doing it the way that I teach you in the super traffic machine. But all of this is completely useless unless you've got a process in place that takes that traffic and turns it into a lead, and turns the lead into a customer, and turns the customer into a repeat customer, because that is the only way that you're going to be able to turn to then, when you've successfully converted a visitor into a buyer, then you're going to take what you earn from that buyer in revenue, and you're going to take part of that, at least a part of it, and put it back into ads, because that's the only way that you can get more people coming in. You have to keep feeding the business back some of the money that it generates for you. You have to put it back into the business and reinvest it so you can get more traffic. And that's how you get more traffic, is by getting more money. I can tell you that the people with the highest budgets have the least refined campaigns that you could possibly imagine, and they're killing it. And they honestly, for the most part, don't care. They're not sitting there worried about 5 and 10 cents that they're losing per click. They're spending way more than they should. And I could create so many optimizations in their already existing campaigns if I wanted to. If they would come and ask me to do it, that's what I'd be able to do. I'd be able to create all kinds of refinements in their campaign, right? Because there is plenty of room for that. But the reality is that they don't need it. They really don't need it. They could not care less about reducing their cost as much as they would care about, because that's essentially that's why they would come and ask me to manage it for them. It's that they want to scale their traffic. They want more traffic than what they're already getting. So they want to spend more than they're already spending, and they're having a hard time spending the money that they've got available. That is what I've got for you today on that topic. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know what other topics you want to hear about. I'm ready to discuss with you whatever you like.